Yeah, good morning and welcome to our newspaper review, where we share our newspaper, where we share newspaper with you this morning. And I am OYEDAYO FOLORUSHO.
Yes, from our headlines this morning, I'll be taking the top stories from the Punch newspaper and the Daily Trust newspaper.
And I'll be taking us through the Nation newspaper and the Vanguard newspaper.
Now, on the Punch newspaper this morning, the headlines: electricity tariff hike imminent as Gencos step up pressure. Oyo APC governor aspirants meet over 2027 consensus deal. 2027, ADC alleges INEC plot against presidential bid. Doctors begin strike today over arrears. Federal government budgets 135 billion naira for 2027 election lawsuits. Those are the top stories on the Punch newspaper this morning.
And on the Nation newspaper this morning, we may not be able to field candidates in 2027, says ADC. Dangote refinery boosts exports to ease petrol supply in Africa. Tinubu to inaugurate multiple Lagos State projects. ADC versus INEC, all eyes on the court. Multiple partisan and 8 undertakers. And that's all I have on the Nation headline this morning.
And on the Daily Trust newspaper, X-ray 3.3 trillion naira debt payments to power sector. Our student was stabbed to death in Niger Vicinity. Despite hunger, Nigeria named Africa's top food waster. 2027. ADC weighs options. World Health Day. Funding gap persists amid fresh health workers strike. Those are the top stories on the Daily Trust newspaper this morning.
And on the Vanguard headline this morning, federal government raises alarm over decline in barge operations, others probe. NGE, NUJ, SERAP to Tinubu investigate threats against Okembaloye, other journalists. Plateau attack, 7 states evacuate 1,630 students from UniJOS. Union Bank, how controversial transaction led to CBN takeover. INEC laying landmines to stop us from fielding candidates. And that's all I have on the Vanguard headline this morning.
Stay tuned as we bring you the details from our national dealers this morning. It's your program Newspaper Review on Vicinity 95.3 FM. We'll be right back.
Good morning.
Good morning.
From Vicinity FM 95.3.
Good morning.
Thanks for staying with us. You can join us live on our Facebook page at Vicinity 95.3 FM, or you can join the conversation on 0813-237-1268. You can also stream us live, listen to us live on Radio Garden at Vicinity 95.3 FM. Now from the Punch newspaper. Federal government budgets 135 billion naira for 2027 election lawsuits. The federal government has proposed 135.22 billion naira in the 2026 budget for what is described as electoral adjudication and post-election provision, pointing to a fresh multi-billion naira commitment to managing disputes and obligations that typically trail Nigeria's elections. The provision was contained in the House of Representatives order paper for March 31st, 2026. Which carried the report on the 2026 appropriation bill as seen by the Punch on Monday. The Punch observed that the allocation was captured under the service-wide votes, a central managed pool of funds used by the federal government to finance obligations not tied to a specific ministry, department, or agency. Service-wide votes are widely regarded as government contingency or general purpose fund within the budget. For more on this, you can find this on the Punch newspaper.
And on the Nation newspaper, multipartism and its undertakers. President Bola Tinubu has said it will undemocratic for his APC ruling party to close its door against those trying to escape a sinking ship without a life jacket. He insisted as a Democrat he will never support a one-party state, but that it is not his duty to help his political enemies in disarray put their house in order. To those who want to be characterable governors seeking re-election really have no choice but to join the ruling party, especially with their parties in disarray. But it gets more intriguing when even those not seeking re-election, those who have not called the ruling APC a cancer, and opposition leaders that have shouted themselves as accusing the president of coercion, intimidation, or bribing of their governors now falling over each other to join APC. And even those opposition leaders shut out exhibited no signs of uneasing, telling Nigerians that the reason they agreed not in APC was because they were not wanted. For more on this, we can find it on the Nation newspaper this morning.
2027 ADC alleges INEC plot against presidential bid. The African Democratic Congress has raised the alarm that a recent directive by the Independent National Electoral Commission could prevent it from fielding candidates in the upcoming elections. It warned that the move risks undermining its participation in the electoral process. ADC National Publicity Secretary Bolaji Abdullah, in a statement on Monday, said the crisis stemmed from INEC's decision to stop receiving correspondence from the party, pending the outcome of a case before the Federal High Court. The party stated, and I quote, "We are compelled to raise serious concerns about a developing situation that appears designed to prevent the African Democratic Congress from fielding candidates in the upcoming elections. It is based on documentary evidence which we are now placing before the Nigerian public, including certified INEC records, attendance logs, monitoring reports, and excerpts from the Commission's own sworn affidavit. Taken together, these documents establish a clear and consistent record of events." For more on this, you can find this on the Punch newspaper.
Still on the Nation newspaper, Tinubu to inaugurate multiple Lagos State projects. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will tomorrow and Thursday inaugurate landmark project executed by the Lagos State government. Commissioner of Information and Strategy Gbenga Omotosho said at a briefing that the visit underscored the state government's commitment to infrastructure development, economic growth, and improved living standards. He said the project reflected strategic investment across the sector. Omotosho described the president's visit as significant for Lagos and the country, noting that the project slated for inaugurations cut across transportation, education, public service efficiency, and economic development. For more on this, we can find it on the Nation newspaper this morning.
Stay from the Punch newspaper this morning. Doctors begin strike today over arrears. The strike declared by the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors, scheduled to begin today, April 7th, 2026, is already threatening to disrupt services across federal and state-owned hospitals nationwide. Resident doctors in Nigeria have spent a cumulative 51 days on strike since the administration of President Bola Tinubu began, a development that raises fresh concerns over the government's ability to sustain agreements with health workers. The figure, which includes 2 major strikes and a warning action between 2023 and 2025, comes as doctors once again announce plans to down tools starting from today over unpaid allowances and policy reversal. The Punch reports that the immediate trigger for the new strike is the federal government's reported decision to halt the implementation of the revised professional allowance table, a key component of an agreement reached after the 2025 strike.
And still on the Nation newspaper, government moves against alleged bias in barge operations. The federal government has directed an immediate investigation into allegations that indigenous barge operators have been marginalized at Nigeria's seaports. The move is aimed at safeguarding fair competition and protecting local investment within the maritime logistic chain. Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, Dr. Adegboyega Oyetola, issued the directive in Lagos during the 2026 first quarter citizen stakeholders engagement, sectoral performance review and Minister of Management retreat organized by the ministry, mandating the Nigeria Shippers Council to probe claims of anti-competitive practice allegedly favoring foreign links operators. At the engagement, operators raised concern over what they described as a coordinated effort to push them out of the market. For more on this, we can find it on the Nation newspaper this morning.
Tinubu visits. Lagos deploys 500 additional LASTMA officers. The government has mobilized 500 additional personnel of the Lagos State Traffic Management Authority to strategic routes and project corridors ahead of President Tinubu's visit. Omotosho disclosed this on Monday during a press briefing on preparations for the event, stating that the move was aimed at ensuring smooth traffic flow, enhanced security, and minimal disruption to residents. He explained that the deployment formed part of coordinated arrangements involving federal and state agencies to guarantee seamless movement and effective logistics. Omotosho said, and I quote, We are working closely with federal and state agencies to ensure that all arrangements for the president's visit are seamless, secure, and befitting of the occasion. The general manager of LASTMA, Olalekan Bakare-Oki, also confirmed that the agency had finalized plans to station the additional officers across major highways and critical routes linked to the president's itinerary. According to him, the officers would manage vehicular movement and reduce congestion along affected corridors throughout the duration of the visits.
We may not be able to field candidates in 2027, says ADC. The African Democratic Congress yesterday alleged plan by the Independent National Electoral Commission to prevent its members from participating in next year's elections. National Publicity Secretary Malam Bolaji Abdullahi said the Electoral Commission is hatching a plot designed to stop the party from fielding candidates for the polls. Echoing him, former National Chairman Ralph Nwosu dismissed insinuations of a protracted leadership crisis, saying ADC structures remain intact despite intra-party conflicts, rejecting INEC's withdrawal of recognition of the interim national chairman, Senator David Mark, and the national secretary, Rauf Aregbesola. The party's youth wings unveiled plans for a nationwide protest. For more on this, we can find it on the Nation newspaper this morning.
Are you a business owner looking to grow your brand or launch your hustle for enhanced value? Vicinity 95.3 FM Ikejile, Ijesha, Osho State is calling on public and private establishments to advertise your goods and services. With a wider reach in Osun, Ondo, Ogun, Ekiti, Kwara, Oyo, and Kogi states, let's push your products and services to a new height. For more information on advert placement, partnership, or program sponsorship, please call Giwa on 081-12-499-685, 081-12-499-685, or Luafunke on 0810-7532-315. We offer only premium services at Vicinity 95.3 FM.
Move forward, so yeah. We need wilders follow. Vicinity FM, Awani Baba.
Yes, thanks for staying tuned at Vicinity 95.3 FM on the program Newspaper Review, where we get to bring you details from our national dailies this morning. Stay from the Punch newspaper. You can do well to join us live on our Facebook page at Vicinity 95.3 FM, or you can join the conversation on 08132371268. Stay from the Punch newspaper this morning. Oyo APC governor aspirants meet over 2027 consensus deal. In a strategic move aimed at consolidating unity ahead of the 2027 governorship race in Oyo State, the wife of the former governor and Nigeria's ambassador designate to Austria, Mrs. Florence Ajimobi, on Monday hosted key All Progressive Congress governorship aspirants at our Ikoyi, Lagos residence. The gathering underscored the party's effort to present a united front and prevent internal crises that could weaken its electoral chances. The meeting brought together a cross-section of influential APC figures, including the party's 2023 governorship candidate Teslim Folarin, former Deputy Governor Aderemi Olaniyan, senators representing Oyo North and South Districts for Abdulfatai Buhari and Sharafatin Ali, respectively, amongst others. The meeting, which lasted from 11 a.m. to 2:30 p.m., focused on achieving consensus around the party's 2027 governorship candidates. For more on this, you can find this on the Punch newspaper.
FRSC cracks down on mixed loading by articulated vehicles in Kaduna. The Federal Road Safety Corps, Kaduna State Sector Command, has launched a major enforcement operation targeting the hazardous practice of mixed loading by articulated vehicles across the state. The crackdown follows strict directives issued by the Corps Marshal Shehu Mohammed as part of effort to curb life-threatening violations on Nigerian highways. In a statement released by the Corps Public Education Officer Sondu Owari, the operation was described as a decisive move to address widespread non-compliance with safety regulations, particularly during the ongoing Easter Special Patrol. According to the statement, several articulated vehicles were intercepted along key transport corridors while conveying a dangerous mix of passengers, animals, and goods. In some cases, more than 100 human occupants were found crammed alongside livestock and cargo, significantly increasing the risk of fatal accidents. Speaking on the development, Mohammed condemned the practice in strong terms, mixed leading in a ticking time bomb on Nigeria highway. It's an egregious violation that turns vehicles into rolling death traps. He stressed that the Corps would sustain the enforcement drive and ensure that offenders are prosecuted in accordance with traffic laws. For more on this, we can find it on the Vanguard newspaper this morning.
Scores feared killed as bandits attack Kebbi villages. Suspected bandits launched a coordinated night attack on multiple villages in Shanga local government area of Kebbi State, leaving a trail of destruction, raising homes, and undisclosed number of casualties. The attack unfolded late on Sunday when armed assailants stormed Gebe, Kawara, Kalkami, and other nearby communities, exploiting the difficult wetland terrain to carry out the operation. Eyewitness accounts and local sources said several houses were set ablaze, forcing residents to flee for safety. Security sources revealed that the attackers were believed to have emerged from hideouts in the Wawa forest in Boku local government area of neighboring Niger State. In a statement issued on Monday, the Kebbi State Police Command confirmed the incident, describing it as a coordinated attack. Police Public Relations Officer SP Bashir Usman said security forces, including police tactical units, the military, marine police, and local vigilantes, were deployed to the area to restore order and protect lives.
Police arrest 23-year-old over alleged defilement of minor in Ondo. Ondo State Police Command has arrested a 23-year-old suspect, Emmanuel Usman, over the alleged defilement of a 14-year-old girl in Owo, Ondo State. According to the police findings, the suspect allegedly dragged the minor into his employer's office within Ijebu-Owo area, where he had unlawful sexual intercourse with her without consent. The command said the suspect also alleged threatened the victim to prevent her from disclosing the incident, warning her of consequences if she spoke out. According to the statement, despite the threat, the victim later reported the matter to the police, prompting immediate action that led to the arrest of the suspect. The statement further noted that the victim has been taken to the General Hospital Owo, where she is receiving medical care, while additional support is being arranged to ensure her well-being. For more on this, we can find it on the Vanguard newspaper this morning.
And on the Daily Trust newspaper, despite hunger, Nigeria named Africa's top food waster. The European Union (EU), in partnership with the federal government and the United Nations Industrial Development Organization (UNIDO), has called for urgent action to curb food waste and promote sustainable consumption in Nigeria. They warned that food waste not only squanders resources such as water, energy, and labor, but also accelerates climate change and undermines efforts toward a zero-waste circular economy. A Kadia-harmonized report by the Nigerian government, in collaboration with the Food and Agriculture Organization and food security sector partners, reviewed biting hunger in the country, projecting that 34.7 million people would face severe food shortages between June and August 2026. Speaking in Abuja, during the commemoration of International Zero Waste Day, EU Deputy Ambassador to Nigeria and ECOWAS, Zissimo Vego, said Nigeria wastes about 38 million tons of food annually, more than any other country in Africa. For more on this, you can find it on the Daily Trust newspaper.
INEC laying landmines to prevent us from fielding candidate ADC. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, yesterday kept mum as the opposition Africa Democratic Congress, ADC, accused it of laying landmines to stop it from fielding candidates in the 2027 polls. The electoral umpire was also silent on the 72 hours ultimatum given it by ADC youth to reverse its non-recognition of the Senator David Marks-led National Executive Committee, NEC, of the party of face nationwide protest. For more on this, we can find it on the Vanguard newspaper this morning.
Yes, thank you very much for joining the program. Newspaper review on Vicinity 95.3 FM this morning. Yes, till tomorrow where we come your way again. This is me saying have a great day. I'm Aisha Ibrahim, to my producer Mujib Olakunle, to my executive producer Akolade Adekola. Thank you for bringing this program to my listeners here this morning.
Yeah, and I'm OYEDAYO FOLORUSHO. Thank you for joining us this morning. Have a pleasant day ahead.
Yes, stay tuned to Vicinity 95.3 FM, Ikejile, Ijesha.